Come away with me as we paddle through Minnesota's boundary waters in handcrafted skin-on-frame canoes, catch lake trout, and watch loons prepare to migrate. Our story begins with a long drive up to Ely from the Twin Cities, canoes perched atop our trucks. The first part of day one was the tow from La Tourelles to the Birch Lake Portage. Our 4 canoes were loaded onto 2 boats for the tow to Birch Lake Portage. The tow cut off several hours of tedious paddling on Moose. The afternoon of day 1 was 6 portages and paddling to our first campsite. On one portage, we dragged the canoes around to avoid unloading. I managed to get wet up to my waist. Our first campsite was a few hours short of our destination, but had a nice sunset view. Day 2 was an easy paddle to our base campsite on South Arm, but we had some concerns about the weather.
Yeah, the storm clouds are beginning to gather there. It's quite a line. Sunday morning. It's Canada on the other side of the lake.
When we arrived at our base campsite, we put up 2 12-foot tarps to cook and eat beneath. These were invaluable. The next day it rained from sunup to sundown, but we fished anyway. The good news was the rain meant they were biting.
Always nice to have it.
After the rain cleared, we had some magnificent sunsets, and the view from our campsite up the channel was absolutely beautiful.
So our campsite is right back up this little trail here. Canoes are over on the left, and John is over here making some adjustments to his lower bonnet tarp. This is our cooking area. We have it covered with a tarp. And then Greg and Bob are camped right here in between the tarps. And there's our second tarp. It's worked out pretty good. We have 8 people, and each of these 12-foot tarps, we can fit about 4 people under, which was a good thing yesterday when it was raining. And then I am camped right on the far side of the tarp. And Jerry is right next to me. And then back down this trail, it is the latrine. I won't take any close-ups of that, but this is the trail that the bear came down the first day we were here.
As mentioned, we had a bear invade our campsite the first day. We drove him off by yelling and jumping around, but he returned the next day while we were out fishing and messed up our campsite. Fortunately, we had our food well protected in bear-proof canisters. Fishing, in particular for lake trout, was a major activity. Bob held a daily contest with prizes for biggest and most fish. Mark was the big winner.
Oh, thank you. I get 2?
You get 2.
You
won
shouldn't
both
have.
prizes.
All these go well together. Western Sun Gulf Coast lime flavored vodka. I'm gonna stay in my seat tonight.
We had adult beverages before dinner in the evening.
What are we drinking?
Our campsite had a great
Mark, what's it
waterside
called?
patio where we could watch the sun.
Right.
We had pretty good luck with 4 sizable lake trout caught.
So this is a lake trout, Jerry, huh?
This is a beautiful lake trout. I'm guessing 10 pounds or thereabouts.
It's going to become fish curry for 8.
Yes. If I can manage to get through those rib bones.
A mink visited us to try and steal a few fish off the stringer we had in the water at the landing, but fortunately, we intercepted him in time. We disposed of our fish guts on the other side of the bay and had a great time watching several eagles dispose of the tasty entrails. Greg brought in a ladle he made and several darts. We all took a turn at it, but it's a lot harder than it looks. Of course, there was a campfire every night, and Greg impressed us with his Swedish fire torches, which are hollow cedar logs placed end up on top of the fire grate. There was time to relax and slow down, and our granite patio was nice and toasty in the sunshine. A log sticking out of the water at our landing bore a striking resemblance to an alligator. It was a bit disconcerting to see out of the corner of your eye when launching the canoe. The loons were plentiful. They were gathering and socializing to psych themselves up for their long migration flight. We did daily trips from our base campsite. One of the prettiest spots was EDDY Falls. There were some fishermen fly casting when we pulled into the landing where the falls comes into the south arm from Eddy Lake. Our skin-on frame canoes always attract attention wherever we go. The ash and cherry wood ribs supporting the ballistic nylon frame look fragile, but they are surprisingly strong. Finally, it was time to pack our things and make our way back to the tow pickup point. We camped just nearby the night before, so we had one last night of campfires and sleeping lakeside in the hammock. We had a short paddle out in the morning and killed some time examining a huge pine that tipped over in a recent storm, exposing its massive roots. After 8 days and 7 nights in the Boundary Waters, it's time to pack up and go. We had a great week, caught a lot of fish, had pretty good weather. One day where we got completely rained out, but it was fairly warm and calm winds, which are a paddler's delight. So, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, click like or subscribe below. Thanks a lot.